Challenge accepted. No. Oh, whoa!
It would have made so much more sense to actually start in a chronological order after finishing Elden Ring, but from what I gathered, Sekiro is in the higher end of the impossible From Software games list. So I figured, why not do all of the difficult ones first and end up with the easy ones, right? Boy, was that a mistake. Do you think it took weeks since my last video because I'm lazy? Nah man, I just couldn't finish this fucking game, dog. At the start, everything made sense. I even accidentally parried my first opponent by mere accident just because the Elden Ring controls were still ingrained into my mind. On top of that, being a predetermined character was a nice change of pace. I'm always obsessed with trying to make cool characters in every RPG I play, so not having to worry about gear and looks was pretty nice. Last but not least, because I had recently beaten Elden Ring, do you really think I was scared of these $1 store waterfowl dances?
Mom, can we have waterfowl dance? We have waterfowl dance at home. Waterfowl dance at home.
I have beaten Millennia. This is nothing. Or so I thought. Man, did I not enjoy this game. Fuck. Don't get me wrong, looking back at it, I'm glad I've played it and it was overall a fun experience, but I really should have saved this game for when I had finished all of the other Souls games. Because look, I get it, alright? The story is about breaking the curse of immortality and getting that stupid blade that ensures that people and creatures can finally die that normally kept getting back to life. Alright, cool, but this immediately raised two problems for me. The first one being that you were obviously going to fight the same enemy multiple times throughout the entire story. I already fought you twice, you as well. You, I fought 3 times. Fuck off already! I'm sure this ties in with the whole predetermined character thing, as there are also plenty of people who don't even consider Sekiro as a proper Souls game due to this heavy focus on the story and this one single playstyle that you're stuck with. As you can't be like, hey, I'm gonna be a mage or a warrior. Like, no, you're a shinobi and you're going to have to beat the game by being aggressive and fighting at close range. And there's almost nothing you can do to change that. Because here's the thing though, right? This forced playstyle was simultaneously the thing that I absolutely despised about this game, but it also made me like it more. You see, in Elden Ring, I could abuse summons and magic to cheese my way through the game. I mean, did I have to? No. But if the option is there and you suck at the game, But in Sekiro, I was forced to beat everybody in fair combat. And speaking of the combat, whenever you're in the flow and you constantly go back and forth with your enemy, it feels great, like really good. Like, the only game that comes close to this type of neat swordplay to me is probably Ghost of Tsushima. Sekiro is a rhythm game, no doubt about it, it really is. So I don't understand why we needed so many funky enemies that ensure you have to run around in circles or completely reduce your movement speed to almost 0 to beat them. Maybe this is a preference problem and they thought that the constant back and forth bosses would have gotten boring, but I personally could have done with a lot less of this stuff. However, there's still some positives to be found there, as a problem I often ran into with, for example, Elden Ring was that I ran into a boss that just completely countered my playstyle, and all of the guides and tips on the internet started off with, okay, just respec into, no, I like this build, I want to finish the game with my build. And in Sekiro you never had that issue, as there's technically only one playstyle to be found. And on top of that, it just looks really cool, doesn't it? The second problem is the story itself, as it is boring? I know, shame on me and my entire existence, but I really couldn't care less about Ashina and Kuro. Now look, just as in my Bloodborne and my Elden Ring playthrough, when I finished the game I realized that I had missed like 50% of the game. But even after going back and checking some stuff out, the game feels quite small compared to the other titles I've played until now. I mean, obviously Elden Ring is huge, but still, Bloodborne felt a lot bigger than this game did. The reason I mention this is because normally when I get stuck on the boss, I just dig around the map trying to level up or find some better gear, but here you're obviously quite limited to that. The game felt small, and I didn't really like how vertical the game was as well. Death blows from above often locked onto wrong targets, certain ledges that looked grabbable weren't, and sometimes the indicator on what you could swing towards and what not was very iffy to say the least. It also doesn't help that Sekiro himself displays no personality whatsoever. He's not stoic and grumpy in a cool way like Joel or Geralt, he just soaks in whatever others tell him and goes with the flow. Which I'm sure is ironic, as all of the other From Software games have characters that can't even talk, but still, I somehow prefer that over this. Even after these two major gripes though, there was still a constant urge for me to go back and play the game again. Like, the game is incredibly tedious and stressful, but the same could be said for every From Software game. But it was still very enjoyable to do all of the things that you could do. Dying dozens if not hundreds of times to a boss feels rewarding the second you finally beat them. It should also be noted that even though you are forced to use a certain playstyle, there is still plenty of creativity to be had. Problem is though, I ain't creative. So I managed to finish the entire game by barely using any of the prosthetic tools. I don't know if that somehow makes it more impressive or just simply more stupid, but there it is. The two fights I got stuck on the most both took me like half a day to finally complete, and those were the True Monk and Ishin. Still, I don't really rage from Software games, as they are meant to be hard. Right? Do these games still piss me off? Sure, but all of those compilations you see about people destroying their keyboards and monitors because of games are just clowns to me. So yeah, good game, really, just not for me at all. Nonetheless, it did spark or reignite my interest to go back to all of the other Souls games and now actually properly finish them or even start playing them, as I still haven't touched most of them, which brings me to you, because tell me, what would you prefer? I have two options at the moment. As I mentioned in my Elden Ring video, I have beaten Bloodborne once but never touched a DLC, and everybody in that video also said that the DLC is amazing, so I could do that. Or I could just start throwing my money at From Software and buy Dark Souls 1, 2 and 3 and play those in chronological order. Now wait, third option. I could also do the Demon Souls remake that they released for the PS5, as my PS5 has been collecting dust for like half a year now. So yeah, be a dear and let me know. And don't feel like subscribing if you're not gonna watch that video. I don't care about subs, I care about views and comments, as I like to discuss all of the bullshit that I say in my videos in the comments with you guys. With that being said, go to the comments and let me know why Sekiro is the best game of the decade and why my opinion absolutely sucks dick. Thanks for watching.